Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Anything But Where Anything Goes. My name's Miguel.
I'm Brendan.
And welcome, folks, to episode 96.
Yeah.
The show where we continue to lose count of how many episodes we've done because there's too fucking many.
And
Brendan.
this is only the start.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Brendan,
Yes.
how are you?
I was going to say tired, but you know what? I'm fucking awake
I'm
now.
good? Yeah.
I'm awake.
What are we talking about today?
We're talking about ghost and how to bust them.
How to bust the ghosts?
How to bust
Busted
those ghosts.
on ghosts.
Ghosts.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
You're in for an episode, folks. And then a little bit of Roadhouse.
Yeah, a little.
Yes.
Roadhouse too.
Okay, Brendan.
Yeah.
What did we watch this week?
We watched
The first one.
Ghostbusters. Multiple.
Ghostbusters what? What's
All
the
of
new
them.
one? The new one that people will click for.
Frozen Empire.
There you go.
Yeah.
It was after the Afterlife.
Yes.
What was the budget? Can you guess?
Too fucking much.
Moderately. Kind of felt like a Marvel movie. Can you?
Okay. 130.
100 even.
Okay.
Up from the last one that was 75, and the original Ghostbusters was 30.
Yeah, but that's what.
Adjusted for inflation, it's probably about the same.
Where are you? Why are you not ready with this math?
What are you talking
You know
about?
I was going to ask that.
Oh, adjusted for inflation?
Yeah.
Look, okay, I'm going to start this off real honest.
Same.
As I've told you, right, one of the greatest podcasts that I listen to, The Weekly Planet.
Mhm.
We talked about this last week. One of them loves Ghostbusters. One of them fucking hates it.
We are the same.
I fucking hate the Ghostbusters. I am so, like, I've tried. Like, we watched the first one. I watched most of the second one. I watched the reboot. Watched Afterlife. We watched Frozen Empire in IMAX, like we said we were going to start doing instead of Dolby.
Yeah.
I fucking hate the Ghostbusters. I don't see the appeal. I don't see the love for it. Bill Murray is a corpse of a person who just keeps coming on set and going, look, I'm the same as 40 years ago.
You're not worried about Dan Aykroyd?
Dan Aykroyd had a lot of fun in that new movie. So, Frozen Empire.
He wrote the originals. So
Well,
like,
that's fine.
these are his babies.
I
Which is
know.
why
I
he's
saw
so,
today there was a, because I know nothing about these until this week. He penned the first draft of Ghostbusters 3, and then just nobody wanted to do it.
What bothers the hell out of me is I found
Yes.
out semi-recently that he is actually autistic. And I never once thought about it, noticed it, whatever. But because I heard it in the new movie, I saw it, and I didn't like that I couldn't unsee it.
Oh, yeah, because he's from that time where autism didn't exist because nobody wanted to acknowledge it.
But like I love Dan Aykroyd. Like I watched like the 70s episodes of
Oh, no, we're
SNL,
not.
like the
Just
Blues
because
Brothers.
somebody has autism, Brendan, doesn't mean they're a
No,
problem.
no.
What are you trying to say right now? I'm trying to back you into a corner to cancel yourself.
Nobody puts
Dan Aykroyd in a corner.
Yeah, nobody puts Dan Aykroyd.
Can you tell me what the box office was for Frozen Empire? Opening weekend.
Was it less than the budget? Because I feel like it had to be.
It is always less than the budget.
Is it
unless
really?
it's like Avengers Endgame.
Why do you keep asking me these questions? I'm clearly the wrong guy to ask.
Because you're learning little by little.
40.
Okay. 45. International, it was 63. Apparently,
They don't-
everybody but the United States also doesn't like Ghostbusters.
Here's the problem.
What's the problem?
They like Ghostbusters. They don't like new Ghostbusters. And this is the main thing I've been thinking about
This is
constantly.
because I fucking love the new cast and I'm tired of seeing the old cast.
Fuck you. Just plain and simple.
I have no nostalgia for
Fuck
them.
you.
I don't have any nostalgia for the Ghostbusters.
First
I
of
really
all,
don't
the first
care.
one's the greatest one ever because Ron
It
Jeremy's in it and he has not returned.
Is Ron Jeremy's in the
Ron
first
Jeremy is in
really?
the crowd at the bottom
The
of the
penis guy?
Yeah. The porn star who got real big and fat before he got real big and fat was in the crowd at the bottom
Yeah.
of the building in the first one, uncredited, unpaid, just wandered on set. Ron Jeremy's in the first Ghostbusters.
Okay, so that brings it up
And
a
I
little bit.
really, really wanted him to be in this one because they brought it back to New York. And I'm like, that would be the strangest cameo. But to all the like nerds
Oh,
or
yeah,
whatever,
because they're bringing in everybody that you could
But-
ever possibly think
what
of.
I'm saying, like to all the nerds and everyone who
Yeah.
like just does whatever and like
Yes.
follows that and knows those little things, like he could
Yes.
be in it. I just didn't notice.
Yeah.
But like if he was just in the crowd again, just as
It'd
an
be fucking
unnamed guy,
hilarious.
I would love it.
So then we'll talk Frozen Empire, then we'll talk about the series at large, and then we won't
I
even
can't
rank them.
talk
We'll
about
just tell
Frozen
you
Empire without talking Afterlife too, because I view them as a whole.
that is good because Afterlife is the best one, and I'm sorry about that. Then we can talk. We'll talk mainly Frozen Empire and just jump between the two. So, sorry,
Fuck.
I'm sorry.
fuck?
I hate this. I don't have any
This guy
nostalgia
doesn't like
for it.
Bill Murray. Who are you, Gina
But-
Davis? What
No,
the
that's
fuck?
not what I didn't say. I didn't say I don't like Bill Murray. I said I'm tired of him because it's the same thing in every movie, right? He's doing a thing. He sits down. He does like a psych eval with someone, and then all of a sudden he's like, "Look, I'm a Ghostbuster," even though he's not in the first fucking 3/4 of the movie. Dan Aykroyd in Frozen Empire is given like not the performance of a lifetime, but he's having a good time. He
Okay.
wants to be in there.
But here's what I'm gonna say.
Yes.
What is Dan Aykroyd doing?
talking.
Nothing. He's doing nothing but Ghostbusters. What is Bill
That's
Murray
fine.
doing? Whatever he wants.
Yes.
He came back for a small paycheck, probably put
Yes.
him on for whatever he could afford. A little bit, like, shame on him a little
Yeah.
bit for being like, charge me this much. Like, come on,
Of
man, it's
course.
Ghostbusters. But, like,
It's you definitely, from an audience perspective, you feel the clause of Bill Murray's contract. Like, Dan Aykroyd is in the movie. Admittedly, yes, you're right. He's
Yeah.
not doing anything. Neither is Ernie Hudson.
yes.
But they're both in the movie.
Yeah.
They're characters. They're doing things. They're not just like the nostalgia cash grab. Like, you know,
Yeah.
in the middle of the
An
finale,
Afterlife, essentially.
in the middle of the finale,
Yeah.
they're what is it? They're going through not the finale, in like the third quarter of the movie. They're going through the New York Library. Dan Aykroyd does a walk. He sees the witch or the librarian from the first one.
The ghost.
Has no story implication, only just a little throwback.
And I love that.
That's what they felt like in Afterlife. But in this, Dan Aykroyd and Ernie Hudson.
But
Ernie
that
Hudson actually
happened
has
in this one.
Ernie Hudson actually has fucking lines. And he's a fucking character.
He was the one who got paid the least, so they put him in the most. But you know what?
Yes.
I was happy to see him.
He
He was great. Okay, I'm not gonna say great like Oscar great, but
Yeah.
it was great to see a guy who I feel like really doesn't.
Are we talking about this? Are you talking about Ernie Hudson?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Who really doesn't like, because it was such a stacked cast in the original one.
Yeah.
Like what the fuck's his name? The guy with the glasses whose family's in this, who's the actor's name I forget. Was in a bunch of movies with
Yes, he was.
Bill Murray at the time, like
Yes.
Stripes and stuff like that. So he already had a bigger name and everything. I really only
Ron
know
Jeremy.
Ernie. No, I really only know Ernie Hudson from the Ghostbusters
Agreed.
movies.
Is he a football player?
It is not the build that he gives off, but
Was that the joke that I heard in How I Met Your Mother? What has Ernie Hudson done?
Ghostbusters. That is it.
Quantum Leap. 2022.
You gotta ask my dad about that one.
The original Crow.
Are we gonna watch that? Because I can't. You
It
know, I'll say that for
depends.
later. When we
Yes,
bring up Roadhouse, we'll talk about that.
It's hard, right? Because in this movie, let me tell you the other thing that pissed me off.
Yeah.
Every post you see, what are the first two things you see? Right? I complained about Bill Murray already. He's
Ghosts.
on the left side. You see Bill Murray
And Ghosts.
doing Bill Murray shit, but he's the highest paid actor, so he's right on the front of the poster.
Yeah, Bill.
Who's on the other side?
I don't know.
Paul Rudd.
Yes,
Okay? And then all the other people fall to the back. Who is the main protagonist of this movie?
the little girl.
McKenna Grace.
Yes, thank you.
You know where she is on the poster?
Not on it.
Like
Oh,
in the middle.
Okay.
She is a great protagonist. She has the heart of the movie. She makes a stupid fucking decision in the movie, that admittedly, but between this and Afterlife, there's this heart and this groundedness to her, and then trying to connect with her mother, who's like a piece of shit.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
I can't unsee the fact that after we saw that movie, I
Yeah.
saw a meme online where someone said she always plays the same girl every time, and I thought back in all the other things I've seen her in, and she does. She always plays an overly intelligent, just like innocent girl
Yeah.
who's just like inquisitive, but like is a little bit too smart for her own
I mean,
fucking good.
the range of a 17-year-old girl can't be really gigantic.
It's also like Finn Wolfhard grew up
He's an adult
like
now.
6 years
Yes.
in between both of those films, but they tried
So hard. They
fucking
gave
hard.
him like a wig, and
No,
they were
no.
like, put the curling iron in
I
your
thought
fucking
that was
hair.
just his hair.
I have no idea.
Her, they tried so hard to make it seem like she was the exact same
same,
age
yeah.
as the film before.
But then you have the same situation we were talking about
Yeah.
with Sydney Sweeney, where somebody's older, not
Yeah.
to that same extent, but they're playing this child, and you're doing your best to be like, hold a teddy bear,
But
put on your
They-
glasses.
They did a bit better of a job because they gave her the giant
Well,
curly
yeah, because
hair,
she's 17,
the baggy clothes, not
and,
Sydney
like,
Sweeney.
Sydney
Go put on
Sweeney's
some overalls. They'll think you're a kid.
Here's your overalls. Here's your teddy bear. You're a 30-year-old woman. Now you are 16. Go. And she goes, what are you going to do? That's my Sydney Sweeney impression.
Isn't she younger than both of us?
I have no idea.
Okay.
Sydney Sweeney?
Yeah.
There's no way. Maybe younger than you old
I-
fuck.
There's a year difference. I feel like we're at that age now where we start to see celebrities, and when they hit
Age
a certain
doesn't
age,
matter.
we're just like, oh, they're older clearly because they're
Yes.
a celebrity. But it's like, no, we're getting
No, we're the same.
we're getting there.
Yes.
But you want to talk about that decision that she made? That was
Oh,
she's 26. She is still older. Sydney
Aren't you
Sweeney.
26? No, you're about to turn
25,
26.
about to be 26. Yeah.
We're both 25 now.
Yeah. Oh, welcome to the club.
No, I don't want to shake
Don't
your
shake
hand.
my hand, old man. Quarter century old motherfucker.
That was the best handshake you've ever given.
Yes.
Good job.
Because I didn't have to dab you up.
Because had to be on camera. Have to get this right. No, I don't want to do it.
You don't want
Because when you
proof?
dab me up, you're like, you got like spider
I
claws.
still don't know how to do it. I
No,
got
you
taught
don't.
one time and when I worked at McDonald's by this really like cool Hispanic kid,
Yeah.
and then I completely forgot because then I went back to working with nothing but white kids who didn't do anything but like a high five. And then now you're coming back at me and like now like dabbing up is like popular and everything. And I'm just like, I forgot to learn.
So there's a B plot in this movie. Maybe it's not even a B plot. Maybe it's the A plot. Maybe
It's
the
a
B
bad
plot.
It's a bad plot.
Maybe the B plot is Finn Wolfhard trying to fuck up Slimer because he's
The
eating too
B
much.
plot is Paul Rudd trying to figure out how to be like, I'm your
dad?
dad without saying I'm your dad. Which
Too many
just-
storylines in
I
this movie to
didn't
begin
care.
with.
It was
There's
just
too
like-
much going on.
Yeah, there was a lot.
But there's the really weird sexual tension between McKenna Grace, who Stangler, whatever. I'm gonna keep calling her by her real name.
Spangler, that's what
Spangler.
it is. Okay. I couldn't
Strangler.
remember. Spangler.
The Steve Strangler.
The
the
cash
connection.
dinging.
The Ashley slash. So there's a sexual tension between her and a ghost where I was totally for this, right? She sits down to go play chess in a park. Spoiler heavy, by the way. I don't think we've ever had a spoiler-free review. She goes to sit down at the park. She goes to play chess.
Mhm.
And the chess pieces start moving. And I was like, do it. Bring back the grandfather. That was my favorite part in Afterlife because they did it with taste. I was like, do it. Even if it's just for a second. So she's like, oh, look, some escape. And then it's just a girl. A new ghost character girl who's like, oh yeah, I burned alive.
Can we stop? I need to stop you there,
Sure,
and then you go
okay.
back because
Yes.
I got to break that down because there's so much wrong with just that first part.
Well, we're not talking about Afterlife yet.
No, I know. Well, I just want to mention a little quick bit.
Okay.
The only time in all of Ghostbusters that we see like a good ghost that's
Yeah.
even remotely a person is her dad. But because he's dead, he
Grandfather.
doesn't. Her dad.
Her grandfather.
Okay. Okay. So
There's a whole
yes,
side
yes,
plot in Afterlife.
because her
about-
mom's just like, "Hey, dad," so like that adds up.
Yeah. Yeah.
He doesn't talk. He doesn't do whatever. So even though we see a very humanoid, normal human being looking ghost, nowhere to the extent of just, "Hey, I'm a girl in a park just playing some chess. What's going on?" Like I'm just a person.
Well, there was an easy way to do that in Afterlife to where it could come off as tasteful, right? And the finesse was to focus on Egon less, but instead every other shot they're like it's a close-up shot right on his face and somebody's talking to him. And I get that you want to I get you want to have the Ghostbusters talk to him and he has to interact and he's part of the whatever. But maybe like two instances, right? If somebody talks, he can't talk back, so he goes, hmm.
Yeah.
In Afterlife, there's like 5 or 6 where like every Ghostbuster has to say something, and now it's Bill Murray going, "Hey, buddy, penis joke," and he's like,
Tall, dark, and horny at 12 o'clock.
because he
What?
can't speak.
He's not in it.
Talking about Afterlife. You wanted to bounce around. I'm bouncing around.
Okay. Well,
So
I was
anyway,
confused.
then yes, there's the B subplot of the girl who they talk, and like I would have been totally fine if they would have what?
Oh, I wasn't done yet.
Oh, you're still
you were
breaking
just
down?
Explaining, yeah.
Yes.
They also do not explain at all
How it
what
works.
this girl is doing in a park in the middle of the night playing chess by herself. She's just there.
The dead girl. Well, no, because that was
No.
deliberate.
Grace McKenna is just there. Like I know
No,
she
because
has to
she was
leave,
upset, so she left.
But they
And
has
they're in
she
New
played
York.
chess before?
Yes.
Has she?
Yes.
Fuck.
In Afterlife, she was
Fuck.
playing with Egon.
Fuck. Never mind. I didn't get a chance to rewatch that one. I saw it when it came out,
That's
but
fair.
I was short
Did
in
you
time.
watch the bad reboot?
What do you think?
You didn't.
No, but we'll get there.
You're gonna hate me because it's better than the first 2.
You're not just wrong. You're stupid, just like your mother. Cat in a hat.
Doubt about that.
There's every single person in the world agrees with me, so that's why I know you're wrong. But then the entire thing is, like you said, there's this sexual tension, but there's not.
You didn't get that?
She has sexual tension. The other girl just kind
You
of
got it. There's 2 girls, okay? She
Great.
and the other girl.
This is why my English teacher always yelled at me. So
So then she did this.
Yes.
She was so
she's
mad
like, who
she
is
did
she and who is
this.
they? I'm like, bitch, you read the book. You know exactly.
You know exactly who they and she are, and she is a bitch to they. It's very mean.
Exactly.
So
So
try again.
So Grace McKenna.
McKenna Grace.
No, Grace McKenna.
McKenna Grace.
Double check that one.
The IMDb page right here. McKenna Grace.
Fuck. I'm really not batting like good this.
You're
okay.
batting like 0 for 10 right
Yeah.
now. Keep trying.
So McKenna Grace.
And Patton Oswalt.
Separate scene. Shut up. McKenna Grace has this sexual tension with this ghost girl.
Yes. The
And
ghost doesn't give a fuck about her.
that's what I'm saying.
Yes.
I didn't feel that at all.
Yes.
And I'm like looking around and like you're just playing it. Like it's so serious. And I remember when it's happening, I'm like looking around the theater, I'm looking at you, I'm like, Is no one gonna acknowledge that she wants to have lesbian sex with a ghost? Like, she wants to fuck this ghost?
I wanted them to just lean into it 100%.
Like, she really,
right?
like, she's
Like,
thirsty as fuck.
If they were gonna, I understand where it went, right? It was clear that like she needed a friend and this friend, whatever. And then she does a thing and it's like, oh, actually, I'm part of the villain. The whole point was to get you to go, blah, blah, blah. I get that. Okay. I really just wish it was one or the other. Like, if you were going to be friends, like, be like Sydney Sweeney. Talk about how you guys want to have a play date and play with your teddy bear or whatever.
I'm just like.
But instead, it's every time they talk, she's like, they're having a conversation, and then the camera zooms and she like walks up to her like this. And she's like, have to.
Yeah, but
like,
I don't remember the first one. I don't remember the first one a lot again, so like I don't know if they set up her sexuality at
Ghostbusters
all.
1?
No,
Dan Aykroyd gets a blowjob from a ghost.
Fuck. Okay, that adds up. So I don't know if they set up her sexuality at all, but that's not what threw me through a curveball. The fact that they were like, she wants to fuck this ghost so bad, and you're just acting like it's normal. You're not acknowledging it. You're not doing it. You don't even know if you can fuck a ghost. And then she fucking offs herself, although temporarily, just to fuck this ghost. And I'm like,
she's like, oh yeah, we're going to be friends now.
Looking at the plot line. Girl falls in love with ghost. Girl kills herself to fuck ghost. Girl undies and then gets betrayed by ghost.
To bring back bigger ghosts with horns.
Are you, who wrote this? What's happening?
I don't think the sexual tension was intentional. I think they filmed it and they were just like, these are the best takes, and we're just gonna not talk about it. It's also fine to not talk about it because she is 17.
No, you have to acknowledge that you're fucking a ghost. It's a ghost. You don't just kind of be like, yeah, it is what it is. No, that's not normal. No,
it is what it is, man.
People aren't going around just being like, I'm going to the cemetery today. Why? Because the ghosts are out. I need to fuck.
I need what I need. I can't help it. So, like, I love that the writers don't even. There's nothing to acknowledge it. There's no way around it. She kills herself temporarily, and then she comes.
Painful.
Yes, it does. She comes out as a ghost, and she's like, she walks up to her, and us as the audience go,
she's gonna kiss this ghost.
Like they're gonna kiss, and it's gonna be really, like, weird.
Yeah,
but like it makes sense, and they go, no, she's a ghost because she wants to go hang out with her as a ghost for 2 minutes. Only 2 minutes.
2 minutes, yes. Once again, which is why I thought fucking was implied, because I'm like, even though you probably need more than 2 minutes, that's a closer gap than let's go on a play date for a couple hours. We got 2 minutes, man. What do you want to get done here? Like, come on.
You're like, oh, I want to play chess. Well, we could have done that if I was alive. So that's why did we bother doing this?
Where did Patrick start? Let's get naked.
What?
Do you not remember that episode?
No.
Oh, that's a good episode.
So sexual ghost tension.
Okay.
The other problem, so many problems. Okay. First of all, I'm saying there's so many problems. I did have fun with this.
It was fun.
I did enjoy it. Again, I don't fucking love the Ghostbusters as a whole. I will continue to nitpick.
I don't like the marvelization of it.
Agreed. Afterlife was good, right? Because it was this like legacy sequel. They tried the reboot, it didn't work. It's a legacy sequel where they brought everyone back, but they connected the story to the old ones, where it's like, oh, it's the grandfather, descendants, whatever. And she, McKenna Grace, especially in that one, plays like a new Egon very well.
Yes.
That made more sense. But then you come here and you would have thought, like, Afterlife maybe, passing of the torch kind of thing. You have a new cast. In the new one, you have the OG guys, but they just show up like in the end in their very small parts.
Yeah.
And then in this one, it's like, maybe it does make sense. I just said they show up in the end to pass it. Well, but then again, they don't pass the torch in any way.
No,
they all
pass
show
the torch
up
in the last one.
Yes. But then they all just show up again and they're like, oh, look, now Melvin's in uniform. And then you have the room of climax. You have the climax room of the guy with horns. And on one side is the new cast. On the other side is the old cast, and then McKenna Grace in the middle.
I just love how you're talking so much shit about Bill Murray, but yet so far he's the only quotes we remember are all his lines.
That one's from the trailer.
Same with the other one. Tall, Dark, and Horny at 12 o'clock, but they're still memorable. Name one other line from those movies. Exactly.
That was Egon.
Oh, I'm sorry. Good quote.
The Marvelization I get. There's a lot of CG. Somehow the budget is like half, even though there's like a huge fucking ensemble cast, of which there are too many.
It's because the other one, they also Oh wait, no, they did that in this too. So I actually want to talk about that. There's still the commitment of kind of practical effects with certain things.
Yeah.
So like Slimer was real in certain shots.
Oh,
To
that's why he
where
looked
I
funny.
actually heard them say that like in that scene where like he's got all the food and stuff
Mhm.
to make it look normal, they actually made scaled down props of a lot of that shit.
Oh,
Which like you put in the effort, you did great. It's
Yeah.
whatever. Slimer's one of those ones where they did that
it has to
back
be
in
there.
the
Yeah.
back in the day where it was like
And it was
actual,
that effect.
but like at the same
looks-
time, if you did that completely digital, I probably wouldn't have noticed.
Yeah, exactly.
Um,
It's you could really tell that it was practical just in the 10 chins. It felt like all of his chins had texture, and then the green glow around it was clearly CG.
yeah, and it's
But those are the scenes that, like, right, this runtime is so small, and there's so much story.
isn't it nice though?
Hold on.
Okay,
So you have this 2-hour runtime. There's so many characters and there's so many storylines, but most of them don't really feel fleshed out. Then you get to the climax, and it's this like, it's both a rehash and a rush. You rehash that the ghost storage shit is exploding. There's a big bad. I understand it's supposed to be episodic. That's what they said they want to do with the new ones, but it feels so like, all right, we're here. And then a laser. The laser doesn't work. Different laser. Laser again, he's dead. You have that, but then you had the time because you're putting these 2 scenes of Finn Wolfhard getting covered in slime and goo that didn't help the story or do anything. It was just to be like, look, Slimer's here. So you had time to flesh out story. You could have gone right over the 2-hour mark and cut some other stuff, but instead, we have 15 minutes of the big bad showing up with no real goal.
I gotta say, Finn Wolfhard,
Yeah.
the fucking worst part of this movie.
A waste. Him and the girl, Lucky. She was
Yeah.
fine, but she was given no time. There was no character development. She
So
was just there.
Here's what I'm gonna say with that.
No.
Okay. So sorry, I'm just burping over here. It's just the whiskey's kind of hitting like that. So this was actually based off of a Ghostbusters comic,
I believe it.
beginning to end or whatever. So I'm assuming the original Ghostbusters were probably, because I didn't read the
Yeah.
comic, were probably the main characters, which is why they leaned more into this. Which
made
is
sense.
possibly why Ernie Hudson was in it so much, because maybe he was a
Fucking
main character in that
love-
comic.
It's like the heart of the movie.
But because of that, I think they found it a little bit hard to throw in these other characters they
Yeah.
created. So even though it felt a bit more like something cool that would have happened in universe,
Mm.
it's just the universe they created in the movie previously, which was literally
Exactly,
just
which was-
episode 7 of Star Wars.
Yes, whereas they did the same thing but different.
Yeah, it was kind of hard to transition.
Yes.
And because of that, you got Finn Wolfhard being like, "I'm 18, man. Okay, anything else about you? Did I mention
Is
I'm
that
18?"
your entire character?
Yeah, and it just
And then,
it
like-
sucks. But
You have Ghost Corps, right? That's it's a production
music
company.
genre? Okay.
It's the production company dedicated to Ghostbusters movies. That was started in 2016 with the bad reboot. It's been said.
track
I know. I don't remember where it was said. I can't find the article, but it was said that from now on, after Afterlife, they want them to be episodic monster of the week kind of thing. But big scale movies. I'm totally fine with that. If you want to do
Just don't make it too frequent.
just not even too frequent, just don't pile on so many characters. If you're going to say, look, all we're going to do is say, look, there's a thing. Now there's a bad guy. We
Mhm.
kill the bad guy at the end. Then stop making it so fucking clusterfucky. Just take your 3 storylines, make it simplistic.
Yeah.
If you're going to keep the villain simplistic and the overall plot of the movie simplistic, the whole movie that way. Don't start the movie and give me like fucking 10 storylines and 20 characters.
Just take what you're doing, pick it up, throw it in the fucking garbage.
That's
What you got to do is take the same concept, except they're like, let's do the same budget, man.
Yeah.
Do it with the Disney Plus routine.
in the volume.
If you're gonna make it a Monster of the Week thing, make it a Monster of the Week thing and make it a TV show with a
Yes.
movie budget.
Yes.
Problem with the Monster of the Week thing
It's made in the
is
volume.
I've watched multiple TV shows throughout my life that have
Monster of the Week.
Monster of the Week things. And you know what the real thing is?
It's
There's an overarching story.
Yes.
The Monster of the Week is episode to episode.
Which
If you're
is
going to
fine.
make the Monster of the Week your movie, it's going to go nowhere and it's going
Listen,
to get stale.
Let's just talk about what they're going to do. We know what they're going to do. Okay, now it's going to be a trilogy. Third one's going to clearly bring back all the guys again, and then it's the true passing of the torch, and the passing trilogy. And Zool's going to come back. It's going to be nothing
No,
but quotes.
no
and
Zool.
What about?
Bottle of whiskey.
I don't want to shake your
Bottle
hand
of whiskey.
again. I don't want to shake. We can bet that. I don't want to shake your hand again.
Take my glass. Clink. I don't know why I clinked. It did
You
clink.
would probably. Did it crack?
No, because that's not a ring.
Good reason. So then, right. So Frozen Empire, fine. It was fun,
I'm going to
but
give it
looking back, it's like
a 6.
out of 10.
Yeah.
I could agree. That
I
like a
would
6
give
out of 10 is solid.
Afterlife probably
7
like
or
a
8.
7 or an 8.
Yeah, yeah.
I'd give 2 a solid 7, and I'd give 1 like a 9. I know you don't agree with that. I don't even want to know your numbers because
So-
they're wrong.
So do you want to talk like the series as a whole? You want to because we talked about Afterlife. We could just talk series as a whole.
I just have one quick thing as to going on in the future.
Yeah.
Grace McKenna has kind of hit this like little bit of a stride where she's kind of big and everything, but
He's doing a lot of
Finn
stuff.
Wolfhard is also kind of big, but now that Stranger Things fell off a little bit and that fucking like you fucking bitch meme, you gotta know that meme.
No.
It's just a freeze frame of him like this half swing going fucking bitch from a movie about to smack someone.
I like that.
Now that it's
No,
died
Finn
off,
Wolfhard kind of fell off, but that's also just because not that Stranger Things fell off, but it's we've been
because the Netflix model.
Yes, exactly. The Netflix model, but also COVID, so it's also
Yeah.
been like season 1 came out like 7 or 8 years ago.
Yeah.
And now they're all full-fledged adults in their 20s.
But my point is like, is he big enough to where, like, say that this is more of a comic book serialized thing? Does he maybe get the main role in the next one, or is
No.
this the Grace McKenna trilogy?
Make it Grace McKenna.
Okay.
Make it the Spangler shit.
He's
God.
also a Spangler.
Yeah, but he's the most obnoxious Spangler. And the mom's pretty annoying, so that's fucking saying something.
Why is Paul Rudd so dumb?
Why has Paul Rudd looked the same for 25 years?
The blood of the youth.
He drinks it with a spoon.
It is a silly straw. It's still Paul Rudd.
So we'll talk about the series as a whole. Here's my experience. Ready?
Yeah.
Because I didn't watch a single Ghostbusters movie until like last week.
I grew up with them.
Yeah, that's why our opinions are so fucking different.
Yeah.
The first one is fine. I'm not a big fan only because it just feels like it doesn't feel like there's a story going on that progresses. It feels like one of those movies where stuff just fucking happens.
I completely disagree.
It doesn't feel like there's a build
A
or anything.
coherent story.
I'm sure there's a coherent story.
I actually don't think you noticed the story because I think you had to pay attention to what was going on. Because when I was a kid, I also didn't notice the fucking story. But Rick Moranis and Sigourney Weaver are very important parts of the
I know
story
that.
that lead up to
Rick
that.
Moranis is fucking obnoxious in that movie.
the fuck-
Deliberately.
Get out of here! Breaking the set, man.
You know what's going to be really annoying is now I'm going to have to watch for the specific fucking point in the episode to re-keyframe the green screen.
Leave it in, so they know what's there.
It's just no. It's going to turn gray. It's going to make everything gray because the colors are different based on the lighting, Brendan. So that's my opinion on Ghostbusters 1.
Do
It's
you
fun. I'm
like
not
Rick
done.
Moranis?
I love Rick Moranis. In this movie, he's deliberately supposed to be annoying.
But in a
He's the
fun
guy
way.
across. I didn't say it's not fun. I just said he's fucking annoying.
Okay.
So the first one is fine. To tell you the truth, the second one, between, I think we had an ant debacle, which I told you about, of the fun of my fucking apartment complex. We were cleaning and doing all these things, and I was stressed out. We didn't finish 2. We actually watched it interspersed and like couldn't hear it super well. And I think when there was like 20 minutes left, we were like, you know what? I don't want to watch this to begin with, so I'm just not going to
Did
finish.
you even see the Statue of Liberty?
Don't remember.
So in order to have a big monster at the end, which is what's missing from these,
Yes.
well,
Well, no,
instead of
there's a big
having
one with a horn in the end of
this-
this one.
no, way bigger. The Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, you saw how big that was.
Yeah.
So in the sequel, obviously, they bring the Statue of Liberty to life and ride it around. You saw none of that.
So
You didn't see the best part of the movie.
that's fine. Honestly, right?
The beginning part of it is slow, and
Yes.
honestly, it's something that I kind of like. If I'm watching back to back, I struggle a little bit to get through certain parts of it. So I get that.
I think I had a whole train of thought.
Sorry.
So the problem is, right, when you review movies like this, the worst part about it, especially for us with the podcast, we've only been doing it for about a year, so our back catalog in terms of things that we've binged is not as diverse as it should be.
But it's a lot still.
It is still a lot, yes. But I'm saying the things that we have to watch, the big series, are still there's more to watch than there is that we have watched.
Yeah.
Reviewing something like the MCU or Star Wars or John Wick or whatever are movies that I've seen 100 times.
Mm-hmm.
So I could tell you the nuances or the different things about it that I fucking love.
Yeah.
Watching a 40-year-old movie like this that is like a cult classic and judging it off of a single half-assed viewing
But it's not a.
is not
it's like
fair.
a blockbuster. Like,
Whatever,
It's not
man.
but that's what I'm saying. Like it's
I
not
fucking
just like
hate the Ghostbusters.
it's not something where it's just like, oh man, some people are like, this is really good. It went really big on DVD. No,
Yeah.
this is a big fucking.
Oh, I know. It made
deal.
$265 million
in
in the 80s.
Yeah.
600 million now. 500?
big number.
Inflation.
Big number.
Then you get to 2016. The female reboot Ghostbusters Answer the Call.
which blew up in the internet and the
Hated
news
it.
and
Yes,
everything.
everybody hated it.
It was
The story is bad. Do you know who the villain is?
no,
Chris Hemsworth. So there
it's
are
worse than I thought it was gonna be.
there are two things.
I didn't see it, by
There
the
are
way.
two things that this movie does 2016 does better to me than any of the other Ghostbusters movies. The story itself and the quality of the movie and the way that it's acted and the way that they're recast, whatever, trash. Like everything about it sucks. They're just trying to rehash the old Ghostbusters, but then give it like a fresh coat of paint, kind of like Episode 7. But if they were like, well, now this is War of the Stars, so you're
Mhm.
like, I know what you're doing. You're not going to get away with it. Two things that movie does better to me. Number one, the Fall Out Boy version of the Ghostbusters theme. That is the shit. I love the fuck out of that. That was 2016. I was in high school. I fucking love that song. We're not going to talk about the Pentatonics one in the end because that one's bad.
I didn't hear either of those. I just know the
So-
original one that I sometimes listen to during Halloween.
I'm not afraid, not afraid. It's just Patrick Stump fucking wailing.
Okay.
Such a great soundtrack. Number two, none of these movies feel like all of, we say all of New York, Manhattan, Times Square, whatever. None of them feel like all of New York is under the pressure that they say, right? You'll always see there's the building. The Ghostbusters are on top of the building. And they're like, oh my God, the ghost got out. And you see the ghosts flying around the city. But that's really all you see. You don't go down into the streets and see things, whatever. The CG in 2016 is obnoxious, run-of-the-mill, like bland, boring character design. But these guys are not on top of the building. They're on the street. You're getting clip after clip after clip of these diverse, different-looking ghosts, even if they don't look good, terrorizing people, and they're fucking everywhere. They're in the sky. They're on the buildings. And then there is the big bad. But it feels like it's the city itself. It's not just like these four dudes are fighting this woman that kind of looks like, why is she wearing white? Is she some kind of space queen or is she an actual ghost?
So you once again didn't see the ending of the second one.
No.
They're in the Statue of Liberty. It's a
Yeah.
whole like this is New York kind of moment where you see people on the street. It's a whole fucking thing. So you missing out on that
That makes
answers
a lot more
that
sense.
question.
Yes. But it does. That's one of the only redeeming factors of that movie. Also, the fact that it's fresh on Rotten Tomatoes when most of the other Ghostbusters movies aren't. From a critic perspective.
First one is great. Second one's mid. But for the new ones, it's kind of weird that it's following the
Yes.
same pattern.
Mm.
As at least for me, where the first one I thought, as far as a reboot for it
Pretty
goes,
fucking solid.
pretty good, exceeded my expectations for a movie I thought was going to be a piece of
And
shit.
progressively
And then the
getting
second
worse.
one was just kind of like whatever.
Yeah. You're just like, all
It's,
right, we're having a
like
good
it
time.
has its moments where you're like, oh, that's neat, it's
Mhm.
whatever, and like back to that marvelization of it and everything.
Mhm.
The opening chase scene of that dragon ghost or whatever just really did not feel like Ghostbusters at all.
No,
to
it felt
me.
like a Marvel chase scene.
Yeah,
Like
and
a-
I hated it.
yeah, like
I
a hard
fucking
open.
hated it. And then after that, it settled in a little bit.
Yeah.
It's just
I also didn't like how there was no explanation of how they got to New York or why.
I was kind of hoping I forgot about that.
I'm also just like, as somebody who lives in New Jersey and we were in the city a few days ago, and New York has always been a huge part of the conversation in our lives. I'm fucking tired of people saying they're from New York. I'm tired of everything being about New York. I'm tired of everything. Everyone's from Brooklyn. Everyone's from Tribeca or
The
fucking whatever.
disrespect that New Jersey gets as far as local.
Yes.
I remember.
Yes.
Do you know the video game The Crew, the racing game by
Yes.
Ubisoft? When
Mhm.
that came out,
There's two of them.
there is two. In the first one, I didn't play the second one, even though I wanted to. But
It's on Game Pass.
oh, good. The first one came out, and you go from New York, and you cross a bridge, and it goes, "Welcome to Jersey City, New York."
Wow.
It says Jersey in the fucking name. How are you gonna do us like that? That you just got rid of a state, but
Yeah.
kept in a city named after. You couldn't make it Newark
My
or
grandmother
something. You
lives in
kept.
Jersey City.
It's Jersey City, and you're calling it
In
New York.
Yeah. That's a deliberate typo.
Yeah.
That's one of those ones that makes it in the game and they
That's
go,
one of them going. Are you gonna miss it?
how did I
won't
make
miss
it in there? I don't know. This is just not my fault, man.
And that was the
Lies.
entirety of New Jersey. Jersey City, New York. It's so fucking annoying.
So then, I mean, you get to Afterlife,
Yeah.
and it felt like to me like what a good legacy sequel is.
Yeah.
It's like it's trying to ground everything, but also progress the story, but also not depend on everything before. And that's perfect up until you get right to the end where like they just kind of show up for no reason and they're like,
Yeah.
look at us, it's the Ghostbusters. Cool. Otherwise, doesn't make a lot of sense.
And that's what I kind of didn't like about the new one, where like in that one, it was just like clearly ghost stuff after those 2 movies
Stop.
subsided so much, yeah, it
Yeah.
just halted completely, that when this happened, they knew they had to go out of the way for this.
Mm.
But then the next one starts, and it's just like, no, clearly this is just part of this world, and everyone knows and accepts it,
Yeah.
and whatever. And I'm like, but that's not it, because you still have the villain from, I don't remember if he's from both or just the second one.
Mm.
That guy who's just trying to like put them in prison or whatever. He's like,
Yeah.
oh, you guys are fucking menace to society. It's whatever.
The mayor.
Yeah, but he wasn't the mayor in that in the second one. He was just a dickhead. What was he, part of like the EPA or some
I
shit?
have no idea, Brendan. You're talking about the movie that I didn't finish.
Okay, whatever. So like, he's in this and he's trying to make this whole big deal and everything. He's like,
Yes.
they saved the world and no one happened to see it. I'm like, do you not remember once again them literally
Camera
walking
cruising.
in a living Statue of Liberty and the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man that is a skyscraper size
Yeah.
causing havoc, and you're just like, nah, man, we didn't see shit.
We didn't see nothing.
No, it
Fucking
didn't
tricks
fucking happen
and
at all.
illusions and
No,
eyeballs.
yeah, it's just like, what
Yeah.
are you talking about? And why are people agreeing with you?
Please just make
It's
it
just
stop.
fucking dumb. Like, yeah, okay, the internet was a thing, but people had cameras. Like, someone saw it.
That's one of the small things that I love is in the new one when they're like they acknowledge the fact that things like YouTube exist.
Yeah.
And they just go on and they're like, look, it's this video from the 80s. It's randomly on here. I'm like, huh.
Yeah.
That's exactly how that would happen. That makes more sense.
Yeah, it does.
We are grounded in reality until the fucking
And
space
then all that. And
dragon
then-
flies
and
through
then
the sky.
Ghost love story and everything.
And then they were like,
derails it.
look, it's a proton pack, but it's new. So it's green. And we're like, toys.
It was black. Am I colorblind?
No, the shot is green.
Oh, okay.
Yes. It was black. That I can confirm.
Okay. I feel like we've been going on about this a little while.
Of
so I want
course.
to touch on the other thing.
You want to
we
talk
watched.
about the other movie?
Yeah, Roadhouse.
Roadhouse?
So we didn't watch the original one.
No.
Not
Have you ever
going
seen the
to.
original?
No.
Okay, good.
Not
Okay.
at all. We
So then
went
we're
in
on completely on the same
fucking
page.
blind.
I have to tell you. So when we were watching this, right, I talked to you about how I also can't do budget or box office because it's fucking streaming.
Yeah.
The budget's 60. There you go. So remember
More
I was
than I
telling
thought,
you
okay.
how the fight scenes looked weird. Like there was something about them where
They
the
were very
hits just
dynamic.
felt. It's a new technique they started using in this movie where the actors hit green bag. Other actors hit green bag. And then they just fucking comp each other in. So that's why the impacts feel weird, because it's a literal impact on a comped in person.
Then why did it look like sometimes Conor McGregor pulled his punches so hard he was in the WWE?
I think that was just one scene.
It was
Where
one
he was
scene
just
that
hitting him
was
right in
bad.
the face. Yeah.
I also really just want to talk about the fact that people are talking about, they're like, this was a great opportunity for Conor McGregor to be an actor. It was a great display of his acting abilities. And then they showed the scene where he walks in and he's like, where's everybody at? And he's got this smile and he won't put his fucking...
How you guys doing today? It's me, Conor McGregor.
I find that offensive.
That's you
He
remember?
won't put his arms down.
Do you remember Garbage Pail Kids? Like the little cards? Yes.
Yeah.
That's what the Conor McGregor version of a Garbage Pail Kid would be. Hi guys, how you doing? It's me, Shrek. Mm.
He was talking through his teeth like
He
that the
was,
whole-
yes.
But like he literally does a thing where he's looking around going, where is everyone?
He
I'm
did
like, why are
100
your arms in the fucking
He did
air?
100 pull-ups and 100 push-ups before every scene, and they had to wait for him.
And I swear to God, they put fucking dentures in his head. Like his teeth are
100%.
not that white.
No, they're not that
It
white.
was
and they're-
so distracting. Like this is his moment. He's gonna get so many
He's not
roles. 'cause
fucking doing
I'm like, he's
anything.
not gonna do shit.
No.
He can clearly fight because he's an MMA fighter.
Yes, even though he
And
is
his
constantly
acting
fucking losing.
was
Right.
terrible, and the only part that was any good about it was because he was like insane.
Yeah.
So the fact that he couldn't act kind of went well with the fact that he was insane. Because you're like, why is he doing? Oh, he's crazy.
Yes.
Okay.
Which is that the easiest kind?
Yeah.
The best part of this movie is clearly Jake Gyllenhaal. Jake
Gyllenhaal's always fucking
He's
fantastic.
always fucking phenomenal. A lot of fun. Homie went through the Hollywood get buff quick thing. He
2
looks
months.
great, and they show you that far too fucking often. There are far too many shots of him going, hold on.
I'm pretty sure that was the original one too. So
I've never seen the original.
I've
so I
seen
don't know.
clips and snippets, and I'm pretty sure Patrick Swayze was like shirtless. Through
I don't
half
even
of
know
that
what
fucking
Patrick
movie.
Swayze looks like.
Ghost. Also never seen that
No.
movie, but I've seen clips.
Is he in Dirty Dancing?
Yes.
Yes.
There
okay,
you go.
thank
That one you've seen.
Yes, of
okay.
course. Dirty Dancing is the shit.
I've never seen it.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm
Why would I?
fucking confused.
No.
Gonna start singing Dirty Dancing?
Please don't.
You could serve on your face. Okay, so I don't even know. What do you talk about story wise here? Because it's so straight to the point. It's
Oh well, I'm gonna talk about what the little girl talked about and how this
What is it?
movie
Oh, the
is
little girl that came out of fucking nowhere.
beat for beat just a fucking western, but
Yes.
then they ruin it by pointing out
By
the fact
telling you
that
that
the
it's a western.
parallels that it's a fucking western the entire time, and you're just like,
Yes.
okay, well that would have been a cool thing to like realize and like
Right at the
do
end.
without the movie, but like the fact that
Uh.
you let me know at the beginning, I'm just like,
Like 5 minutes into the movie.
okay,
Yeah.
cool, and like
Post Malone's in this movie
dude,
too.
he showed up, that was weird. The rat girl from fucking Suicide Squad was
Yes.
the love interest,
Yeah, she was.
which she was just like, you're a dickhead, and then like 30 minutes later, she's like, let's go on a date, and I'm like,
Let's
he's
go on a
done
boat.
nothing.
No.
How did you go on that 180?
What I do like is some of the fight choreography is really fun.
The fighting was
Like
great.
when
The
he
fighting
first
was
shows up,
fun.
especially
Yeah.
in the Roadhouse, and they're like, he like goes to take those guys outside, and you're like, what is he gonna do? And then it's a rant, like not even random, but it's a choreographed like action movie kind of. It's not just a throwaway. He's like bang, 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 dodge, grab, blah, blah. He's doing stuff. He's not just like a
Yeah,
fucking
okay.
hitting the nose, and then you're like, I'm the big scary guy.
The one thing I will give this movie that I absolutely fucking loved
Mm.
is this what I'm going to call secondary hits that were somehow more brutal than the initial hits.
Oh yeah,
Is
he
when
like
someone
hits
gets
someone in the
uppercut
chin.
and
Yeah.
then they fucking flip
They
and then
fly
you
back and their
feel their
head is
jaw hit the
smacking.
bar top
Oh,
and you're like,
yeah.
that's fucking broken. And like
Jake
him,
Gyllenhaal's already moving on to the next guy, but this guy's still going.
yeah, and like the way that they added all that
Russian
and everything
surgery.
in the bar with like the cage around it and everything and how
Yes.
like even though there's a cage there, like you never really felt like those guys were safe in there because
Conor
and like
McGregor, like-
Conor McGregor fucking peels the metal and everything, and it's just like
It's just like a shining moment. Hi guys.
it definitely had its moments, but it definitely really needed some polishing that it just never got.
It feels like what it is. It was a movie that was initially supposed to have a theatrical release, and
Yeah.
I'm sure once they decided it's going to streaming, not that the budget was cut back, but like the timing and things. Like it
Yeah.
feels like there was significantly less effort
Mhm.
in certain parts that wouldn't have happened with a theatrical release.
Well, there was that whole controversy where like possibly AI was used to write half of it, but then the director came out and went, "No, that's bullshit." But the internet
Is it
was
just the
like,
dialogue?
"We did whatever." I don't know if it was the dialogue or like the plot and everything. Like I don't know, but like once again, I didn't see the original
Neither have I.
thing, but I don't remember it being on like a beach. Or
Which I guess is the entire purpose of remakes like this, is to hit the
the
audience,
audience
like
that
us.
never saw it. And
Yeah.
you know what? That's kind of what I wanted to talk about with The Crow coming out and everything.
Mm.
Never seen the original
Neither
one,
have I.
and I don't even know if
Gonna
I
have
want to
to.
watch the original one before going into this because I feel like a lot of these things.
What if we watch it after?
we could watch
We
it
do it
after.
backwards.
And just like because like you're always going to compare it to the original and go,
Mhm.
well, this one did that, and the fact that you didn't match that means that it's
Yeah.
wrong. But in all reality, like
There's really no good way to do something like that with this kind of legacy sequel. Which is
even once
all
again,
these things are.
even though I didn't see the original one, I don't think that this was a reboot, a legacy sequel, or
No.
anything. I think
It
had
feels
the
like it's
same.
a new movie with the same title.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all it is.
It just shared a title
Yeah.
and a similar concept, and that was it.
Because from what I've heard, it's
Um,
the story. Right. If at that point you're doing a remake, but you're changing aspects of the story, then it's
Yeah.
not a remake.
And the entire concept of Roadhouse that I know is from Family Guy, where Peter Griffin's going around roundhouse kicking people
Agreed.
and just going
Not
Roadhouse.
a single roundhouse
Not
kick in this
one
movie.
roundhouse kick in this whole fucking.
They had a
movie.
perfect opportunity
Very
to,
upset about
but
it.
instead they took a wooden spike and stabbed Conor McGregor 6 times in the chest.
Which was awesome. I'm not gonna
Incredibly
lie, That
brutal,
was
yes.
a great way to finish up.
But
Even-
Jake Gyllenhaal's walking towards him, and you're like, he's gonna fucking do a roundhouse kick.
yeah,
Let's do it. And instead he goes, pull this out of you, put it in you again, and then pull the other one out, and then just keep on.
that
fucking
was
going.
the only part of his acting that I actually genuinely enjoyed because I
Yeah.
actually like believed him when I
he
like
was in
saw it on
pain?
his face. He was not only was he in pain, but he was like, "Did you just fucking stab me like 9
6
times with
yeah.
a stick?" Like, what the- and like that was the only time he acted in that movie where it was actual acting, and the rest of it was just him being Conor McGregor.
Yeah. I
Um,
think my favorite thing is the clip that's going around the internet of him driving the random taxi instead of his own car and then crashing it into a coconut tree
Yeah.
and then just getting out and be like,
And then the only character I really didn't care for in this movie was the girl who owned the Roadhouse.
yeah, don't
Because it
remember.
felt like she was supposed to go somewhere and it just never did.
No,
Like they
see-
introduced her, gave her backstory, and then just said fuck it. It was done.
entirely.
Yeah.
I like Jake Gyllenhaal. was a lot of
Yes,
fun.
Jake Gyllenhaal was great.
it's there's no franchise possibility here. It's
I
a
can see
reboot,
sequel,
but I
though.
could see sequel, yeah.
Yeah.
But it has this nice little bow on it at the end of this, like, he shows up.
You're not the
It's
hero.
a western.
you're
He's
not the
not the
villain.
hero, but he like saves some people, but in the wrong way.
Yeah.
And then he just kind of leaves. I don't know how you would do.
They literally treated this movie like no one knew what the term anti-hero was.
Yes.
And they're
Watch
like, we've
Venom
invented something so new. And
or
everyone's
Venom
just like,
2.
have you seen any movie in the
Morbius,
past 10 years by
Craven the
Sony?
Hunter,
Yeah.
Madam Web.
Craven the Hunter, the vegan. Like,
You know what's crazy too? Just to circle back a little bit to Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
I thought it was just like Sony's Spum universe that just had this vibe of being like, oh, this is cheap and shitty. No, that's just Sony movies altogether. Like there was a certain kind of sheen that I felt on Ghostbusters Frozen Empire.
Yeah.
Where I was like watching Afterlife, I didn't realize it was a Sony movie, but the way some of the writing was in the ending, I was like, damn.
So it's just that they need to fire the CEO and the writers in Sony and everything will be okay?
They just gotta stop letting these two people write everything.
Yeah.
The same people that wrote like
Morbius and
Morbius
Madam
and Madam
Web.
Web and Craven the Hunter. And
If they come back and go, we loved what he did with Morbius, we really loved what he did with Madam Web, so we gave him a third film,
Madam
everyone
Web
just got to be
2.
like, guys, leave the writer.
Outback.
Whoever's at top, you get the fuck out.
No, that
Get
doesn't
it.
happen.
This is fucking
He
done.
makes too much money. Too powerful.
Bring in Bob. I don't give a fuck.
You want to hear the crazy shit that I heard today?
Yeah.
Entirely unrelated to Roadhouse, because now I've moved on.
Okay.
So Ike Perlmutter.
What?
Ike Perlmutter. He was the guy when Marvel Studios first started. He was the guy that was like in charge of Marvel TV.
Yeah.
He was the one that would fight Kevin Feige and be like, "No, I want to do this. We can't make a Captain Marvel movie. People don't like women. They can't lead movie." He was that guy.
Yeah.
Okay. He was forced out thanks to Kevin Feige and Bob Iger
Mm-hmm.
out of the board or whatever.
Yes.
He's him and a couple other people right now are trying to make like a majority claim, not a majority claim, but some kind of like strong arm get Bob Iger out
Yeah.
by just coming in and being like,
It was
no,
just
man.
like a board and everything.
Yes. The majority shareholder in Disney came out to put in the best word for Bob Iger to the public and to like the board and whatever. Do you know who the majority shareholder of Disney is?
Is it Sigourney Weaver?
No.
Who is it?
It makes me happy. It's George Lucas.
Is it really?
Yes. He came out. He was like, I really like Bob. When I was selling Lucas films, I was
Selling
really
to
good
him.
fine with Bob, and it was the whole thing. So like, George Lucas is like on the board of Disney, being like, no, don't listen to Ike. Remember that photo of him and Donald Trump? Yeah, he's a bad guy. We like Bob.
So, you said that whole guy was like, oh, women can't lead movies and do whatever.
Yeah, he was very.
The fact that Bob is so the other way brings
Yeah.
me to the last thing I really want to touch on, which is the Acolyte trailer for Star Wars.
So
It
goddamn.
looks developed really well,
Yes,
but it,
but it
also,
looks
feels
like it was
very.
shot in the volume.
It feels like it was shot in the volume, and the fact that I'm looking at the cast and like it seems like the villain and like 4/5 of the main cast are all women and everything. Not that that's really bad. Feels
Yeah.
like they didn't really learn anything from Ray or do whatever, and they're going. We're just gonna keep pushing with this and
My
doing whatever. And I'm
problem-
like, but hold on, but like,
Yeah.
you heard the majority of your fan base say go a different route with this, and not only are you doubling down and giving Rey her own film now that should have been a Luke Skywalker story, you're now taking a whole new era and starting it off with the same flaws that the other one had.
You're wrong.
Where are you going?
You're wrong. The problem with Rey is not that she's a woman.
No,
The problem with Rey is that she's an underdeveloped, shallow character that wasn't given
but
anything.
that's my point. What makes you think that these are going to be any different from her?
You haven't seen the show yet.
But I've seen enough Disney.
You have. So their track record says otherwise.
Yes.
But the problem with the Acolyte trailer is not that there's women in the trailer.
No,
Or
it's
not
that
that
I'm
there's-
expecting them to be about 5 Rays in a tag team squad, and I don't want that.
Which is understandable. But I'm going to continue to have the benefit of the doubt, and that just because there are women in the trailer doesn't mean they're inherently underdeveloped and shitty. As
By
for
Disney,
the
it
Rey,
might be.
I know.
But
Okay,
like-
just let me play
Okay,
devil's
okay,
advocate.
okay.
Okay.
Well, I
As
feel like
for-
that's me at this point.
As for episode 10 or the Rey movie or whatever the fuck it's going to be called, because
Yeah.
now there's rumors on both sides. It's not even that they're giving Rey her own movie and that's the problem. The problem is that you have this character that was the epicenter of a trilogy and that she didn't die, nothing changed. She was there from the beginning to the end, and she was the emotional closing to this trilogy ending the Skywalker saga. Unless you jump hundreds of years in the past with the Acolyte or hundreds of years in the future, if you're going to continue the Skywalker story, you have no choice. Luke is dead, Han is dead, Leia is dead,
The
in
only
real
other
life,
reason
Ben Solo's dead.
that I have with this, me not being too excited about it, is once again, I'm not really sure if I remember the villain correctly,
I have no idea.
but I believe I just saw.
The Acolyte?
Yeah. Oh, do you know who that is
Nope.
at all?
Nope.
Did you see them in the trailer?
Nah, I don't remember. I heard rumors it was Darth Plagueis, the Wise.
So there is so much history and lore for Star Wars in the early Republic, High
The High
Republic
Republic,
days,
yeah.
and I know that it's not technically canon anymore because it's
No,
part of like
that is
books.
canon. The
Okay,
High Republic is canon.
the
The
concept of
Old
it is
Republic is not.
okay. Um, there's so many great Siths from that
Yeah.
era, and I'm really,
Darth
really
Malgus.
worried.
Darth Bane.
Yeah, Darth Bane is really big one
fucking
that
cool.
I really want him to show the fuck up. And I feel like they're not going to do that, and they're going to do the same thing they did with the Obi-Wan thing, where they make a new kind of Sith, no backstory really, well, not backstory, but like no real like depth to the character,
Yeah.
no whatever, and it's just like I watched this trailer and I genuinely thought to myself, how many more of these shows do I have to watch before, as a genuine fan, I just give up on Star Wars?
I think I could definitely get to the point of giving up on the TV side of Star Wars. I could see that happening because now they've hit so many things. Not out of the opposite of out of the park where they go to swing at the bat and they
Yeah.
just kind of like holding it wrong, so they just hit themselves in the back of the head, and then the ball hits them in the nuts like a cartoon.
I wasn't disappointed. I wasn't like, oh fuck, this is gonna be bad. I watched the trailer and everything, and I was legitimately sad afterwards because I felt like
Why?
because it reminded me more of just Disney Star Wars,
So
which has not been good, and I felt like I was watching one of my favorite universes in movies
from a
die
trailer,
in front of my eyes.
so that's dramatic. From a
Uh,
trailer,
no,
so
no,
the
it's not
thing
from a
is, right?
trailer. It's from all the shows, and
If
then this
you're
trailer
gonna
on top of it. I saw nothing different. What's different about this that shows a different trajectory?
from a teaser trailer, you're not going to get any of that. I don't expect to get any of that. I'm not expecting to get too much story or anything because the way that Disney is doing things for the last 10 years is they milk the shit out of it.
Yeah.
They're going to give you a teaser trailer that tells you fucking nothing. So I'm not judging it off of that. If you're going to go, because if you're going to play one side to the extreme, I have to play the other side.
Okay.
There's no way that you're going to look at every franchise and go into the new one entirely judging it off of every single old property, right? I'm not going to go into Frozen Empire.
But isn't that what you're supposed to do?
There's supposed to be some kind of
Context from the
context
previous.
for it, but I'm not going to say that Frozen Empire is going to be shit because I hate the first two Ghostbusters movies or because 2016 is so bad that they just like hard stopped a week into it being released. I'm going to go, all right, I understand where these come from. The most recent one is whatever. Here we go. When I'm looking at the Acolyte, I'm like, all right, so from a story standpoint, completely removed. I just know Yoda's going to be fucking in it because he's like a young adult.
Holy shit! I didn't think
He's,
about
he's
that.
200.
So the thing that I'm viewing this as
Hmm.
is that you've now lost my faith so completely. The original trilogy, the prequel trilogy, which I understand people didn't like when it came up, but we grew up with it, so we
Fucking love it.
enjoy it.
Entirely fine for everyone.
And even with the first season of Mando, the fucking Clone Wars TV shows and everything,
The first two
my-
seasons of Mando.
my
Stellar.
faith is now gone to where I no longer see a Star Wars trailer and I go, oh great, Star Wars. My faith is now missing and you need to earn it back. And I didn't see anything that really earned it back, which is why I'm hesitant. I know, like
You are so dramatic.
No, I'm not. How long are we gonna? How are we gonna do?
No, I agree with you.
How
It's,
long has Disney Plus been putting out Star Wars TV shows, and how long have we been
Shit.
watching them? Going, well, it really wasn't great, but it was whatever. And how long
Listen,
are we gonna
let's
ignore
be
that and just be
honest.
like, well, let's hope it's good?
we know what did that, okay? It's not even
Bob,
Disney Star.
both
no,
of the Bobs,
Bob Chapek.
both of the
So
Bobs,
it's not
both
even-
of them. I don't want to hear his fucking blame. Bob Iger was just as much his fault
He was, yes.
with creating all this shit.
So the problem isn't even Disney Star Wars, Disney Plus TV Star Wars. Let's be honest about what it is, okay?
Disney Star.
First of
Wars.
all, it's the sheer amount. You went from Star Wars once every 10, 15, 20 years to now it was, the sequel trilogy came out and then they were like, all right, every other year we're doing a movie. And then all
But
of a sudden
that's
they're like,
not
we're going to announce,
fair.
I agree. Then they're like, we're going to announce 10 shows all at the same time.
TV shows run for decades and decades, but the quality
The
still
real
stays.
thing that did this to us is Obi-Wan. Okay? Because Mando season 1 and 2 were great. Andor we haven't even watched, so there's no opinion
But
there.
people said it was good, so I'll give
people
you the
say it's
benefit
very
of the
good,
doubt on
yes.
that one.
Mando season 3 was bad.
Book of Boba Fett, bad.
Book of Boba Fett was bad.
Ahsoka.
Except for the one episode with
The Rancor.
the Mandalorian, basically season 2.5, where he's like Luke
Oh, yeah.
Skywalker and the baby.
Yes.
That's a pretty good episode.
Um,
Ahsoka,
Ahsoka, bad
no,
half the time, good half the time.
yes, entirely. I won't even say bad because we have, link in the bio, we have countless reviews of Ahsoka. Ahsoka on the whole, we had fun with. It wasn't perfect, but it's what made sense as people who have no connection to Star Wars Rebels watching something like that in live action.
But it once again had the same problem with everything else that we've touched upon multiple times here.
What?
It didn't. That could have been a movie or
Yes.
two, or a limited series where you're
Yes.
like, it's 4 episodes. But the fact that you're lying to people's faces going, this is a TV show.
Yes.
Oh, wait, it's 8 episodes. Oh, wait, well, these aren't long enough. Oh, well, this got rushed and this.
Oh, agreed.
You
agreed.
didn't have a fucking TV show. You had a movie.
I agree with you. You're
I'm sorry.
you're very passionate.
I am on.
So-
You're saying that I'm being overreacted, but I'm on the brink. Like if
Of
this
being done
show
with
is
Star
bad,
Wars?
if this show is bad, the next one that comes out, I'm not watching.
Fuck that. I will be there day one. The
And you're the
Mandalorian
reason
and
they
Grogu
keep making them.
for certain things. I'm not gonna watch Andor season 2. I'm
The
gonna
good
watch.
one.
yes,
That's
yes.
the good one. Let's
I'm gonna
keep
watch
watching the
the
bad.
Mandalorian and Grogu. So, but you're agreeing with what I was saying. It's the sheer number of content. But the thing that really did it to us was Obi-Wan. Okay, because Obi-Wan, how did they pitch it to us? They said, "Look, you and
wasn't,
McGregor's
though.
coming." What?
It wasn't for
Yes,
me.
it was.
It was the 3rd season of Mando
Mandalorian. That was pretty bad. Yeah.
that you were up here and then you fell down, and then it
Yeah.
was Ahsoka me being going, oh, I'm gonna do all this stuff. And
See, but
once
that's such a lie.
But it's not.
It
We
is.
justified it.
I was
and
there.
so was Timmy, and she felt the same way as I did, and everything. And the ending and the episodes for where that went was great. But for the first half, if not 3/4 of that show,
No.
it was a lot of boring. It was a lot of nothing. And
The first episode, the first 2 episodes.
4 or 5 episodes,
No.
there was always an hour, 45-minute, hour-long episode, even a half an
No.
hour for those, and it was
Mhm.
always a quarter of that was solid content that made me go, oh shit, wow, look at that.
Yes.
And then the rest of it was garbage.
I won't say it's garbage because I'm going to keep playing devil's advocate. It
Okay.
was slow and
Bad.
boring, but you can't
Bad.
possibly expect any TV show you've ever watched to be balls to the wall 100% of the time.
No, but there's exposition.
Yes.
There's whatever, and it's
Which
also
is what
once
the
again
first 2
8
episodes were.
episodes.
Yes.
But I'm not talking about the first 2. I'm talking about the first 5 or 6 out of 8.
I don't think you remember
I do.
this show at all.
You have fucking Anakin smack in the middle, which was wonderful, and then you
Amazing.
went, okay, we hit a peak, back fucking down.
No,
If you have a
that's-
season, you ramp up. You're not The Walking Dead with a 40-episode season where you have to have a mid-season finale where people are like, oh shit, and then you take a fucking 3-week break to a month break because of New Year's and Christmas. You have 8 episodes, and you can't make it interesting beginning to end. It's not a good show. I'm sorry. There's no reason for that.
Okay, so we're going to have to get to a point to rewatch Ahsoka because what you're saying doesn't match up with what we talked about at all.
No, it doesn't match up with what you talked about. It was a lot of me going, I didn't like it, but this was fun because I was trying to find the good in it.
Mm-mm.
But as a whole, looking back, I don't need to ever watch that again. I'll go back and watch the original trilogy. I'll go back and watch the
Of
prequel. I'll
course.
go back and watch season 1 and 2 of
Oh my
Mando.
God.
The Clone Wars, I will never go back and watch Ahsoka again unless season 2 makes it worth my time. Except for the one scene with Anakin and Darth Vader.
Great scene.
The only part. And you cannot look at a show as a whole based on one scene.
So 8 episodes, 6 episodes were a lot of fun. There were parts where it fell off, yes. The first 2 episodes were incredibly slow because you're introducing this character to a group of an audience that want nothing to do with the cartoon. So, of course, there needs to be some kind of slow, boring exposition. But I'm going to stand by my opinion. Obi-Wan is what did it. Okay.
That
Because
really
I will-
break
I
my
will-
spirit a bit. It
I
did.
will put money on this that when we get to a point, because I'm not fucking doing it right now. When we get to the point of watching Ahsoka again, because we'll do another Star Wars retrospective. We did one last year, link in the bio, where we talked about all of this stuff. I don't want to do that again this year. Maybe next year, maybe the year after. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Okay, depending on what comes out. But I will put money down to say that Ahsoka is not the reason that Star Wars has done whatever for you. It will be Obi-Wan because of the nostalgia behind the prequels now that we have, the
Yeah.
love for it that we have, and the way it was pitched to us. Because it wasn't pitched as what it was. It was, hey, look, Ewan's coming back. Hayden Christensen's coming back. It's the reunion of this. They're doing the... Hold on. I've been trying to explain this. You've been yelling at me about Ahsoka.
Because
Hold
I
on.
still don't agree with it. And I
know
feel like
that.
I misrepresented what I meant.
Entirely. So it's pitched to us like this, and they're showing us behind the scenes, and they're doing the choreo, and they're learning, and you see 20 years later, these 2 guys are smacking their fucking lightsabers together. And then you get to the show, and it's like, for the first, how many episodes was it? 6? For the first 5 episodes.
Not long enough for a show.
For the first 5 episodes, you have nothing but pandering. The little girl. Focusing too much on the little girl. It's Obi-Wan, but he's sad and he's a hermit. And every now and then you have this beautiful, like, 1.5-minute scene of Darth Vader being fucking badass.
What the greatest part is about all that? The fact
What?
it's so bad you're referring to her as the little girl and not Leia.
I don't give a fuck because she's not Leia.
Exactly.
Okay, so you're not realizing what I'm saying. I'm saying this show
yes.
is shit.
Yes.
And it's the reason that you hate Star Wars going forward.
No.
You can't say it's Ahsoka. Ahsoka is so much better than Obi-Wan.
Ahsoka is the reason I hate Star Wars. I'm saying Ahsoka is the straw that broke the camel's back because it was shit after shit after shit.
No, it wasn't.
It was.
It definitely was
You got
not.
Obi-Wan, Book of Boba Fett, Mando Season 3, and Ahsoka as the 4 Star Wars things in a row that we saw.
Yes.
That is the shit run. That's what
did you say? The Mandalorian?
Season 3.
No, Book of Boba Fett came first. So Book of Boba Fett started everything.
I didn't mean fucking in order, but okay. So
Book of Boba Fett was horrible.
Mando Season 3.
Mando Season 3 was horrible.
Obi-Wan.
Obi-Wan was horrible.
Ahsoka.
Ahsoka looks bad by comparison because she's lumped in. Take her out of there, okay?
Wouldn't that make her look better by comparison because the rest was shit?
Because you're looking down at everything.
I'm not.
You're also only looking at the bad because what came out with these 4? Andor. That show was smack in the middle of it.
That is the only thing I will say that's not fair to our thing. Yes, I have not watched it.
I will stand by. You can have your opinion because you've been yelling about it now for 15 minutes.
I'm so done. Like, I'm genuinely hurt by this franchise now.
Not great. Ahsoka is a good show.
It is.
There's so much good in there.
There
was a huge opportunity to bring in Darth Maul, but we're just going to avoid that, okay?
Because fuck us. Why care about the fans?
Why do
fuck
something
Solo? Who gives a fuck about Star Wars? Let's write the stories we want. Who's we? I don't know, the guys in the writing room? Okay, but what about everybody else? Fuck them.
You're by yourself.
That's what it feels like. And you know what? I'm tired of being a fan of a fandom that does not care about its fans.
The fandom cares about its fans.
Yes.
The 3 people up top making all the decisions don't care about their fans.
And that's what actually makes me the most
How
mad
long
about
are we going to
Ahsoka.
do this? When are they going to fire Kathleen Kennedy?
4 years ago? I don't fucking know. Okay, that's one thing I really want to say really quick. As far as Ahsoka goes, those things in those episodes seems like there were moments where they did genuinely care about the fans.
Yes.
In those, it was just a lot of the filler and all the other shit in between and the Star Wars and the Marvelization of Star Wars.
But it's also, the problem is,
crime.
Star Wars, it's so hard, right, to take something like Star Wars that's always been a movie franchise and then bring it down to a show. Like as a cartoon, fine, because they figured it out with George Lucas telling them what to do. The Clone Wars worked out. You can't sit here with Disney Plus and say, look, it's a movie budget, but not a movie, because Star Wars doesn't work as a limited series like this. You expect Star Wars to be nothing but highs and action and universal development. And when you bring it down to a show, there's too much time.
Tell that to 7 seasons of the Clone Wars.
That's what but who did the Clone Wars? First of all, because if you want to glorify the fucking Clone Wars, seasons 5, 6, and 7, 5 and 6 are half-assed, thrown together, and barely possible because the show got fucking canceled.
Still great, though.
Season 7 that Disney did, 3 good episodes.
The whole season?
Really?
Amazing.
What were those women named? What were the girls' names in the middle there? Where Ahsoka just gets hanging out with a mom and a daughter. What are their names?
Yeah, you're right.
You have no idea.
Yeah, no, you're
because
right.
season 7 is glorified because that fucking.
So I'm saying. So 5 and 6 were the good ones then. And you're saying those are bad.
No,
Seasons 1 and 2 were a little rough.
7. There's a stride in here, right? Because you want to talk about the Clone Wars. 7, couple episodes where they're fucking up Darth Maul and Anakin's falling and things are taking place at the same time as 3. Stellar, okay?
Awesome,
amazing.
amazing.
When Ahsoka comes back and Anakin's got the hair in the first episode or 2, great, stellar. Here for it, okay? The middle sucks. Season 6 is a bunch of episodes thrown together that was shown on Netflix because the show was canceled on Cartoon Network. Sucks. Season 5 cut short. Why? It was canceled. Sucks. Season 1, they were learning what to do. Sucks.
How are you going to look at me and go season 5 and 6 suck, but you like Ahsoka?
Fucking love Ahsoka.
Season 5 and 6 are far superior to Ahsoka. The storylines and everything in that made me so excited for season 7 to come out.
Brendan?
I don't remember the story.
Exactly.
You want to know what I remember from Clone Wars more than anything right now for some fucking reason? The one episode where Jar Jar Binks fumbles his way through an entire fortress and everyone goes, man, it's a Jedi. And that's season 1 and that episode is terrible. But that's what I remember. I watched all of that several years ago and I watched it all the way through once.
You know what?
So
I'm going to harken back to a clip that's probably still on the channel. Whenever we talk about Star Wars, why don't I like the Clone Wars, Brendan?
You don't like Ahsoka.
I don't like the clones. Okay. What do I like about Star Wars?
You don't like 5?
What do I like about Star Wars?
Like Echo?
What do I like about Star Wars?
The dildo swords.
That's the lightsabers.
Yes, those. You love them.
I love the lightsabers.
You love them.
I love the dildo swords, okay? I don't like the clones. That's why I haven't watched The Bad Batch. I don't give a shit. I don't give a fuck about the clones.
The clones are what makes the Clone Wars, hence the name.
Which is why
99?
I don't care about the Clone Wars.
99. 9? No, 9. The old guy one who was just like, man, I'm fucking hobbling and I'm the Hunchback of Notre Dame, but I'm going to help you guys defend this fucking place till I die. Great episode. Really makes you feel for the fact that the clones have those personalities is what made it
You're
great. Which is
reaching out
why
for some
we
nostalgia that I don't
got
have.
The Bad Batch. It's not nostalgia for me. I saw it in 2018.
Go outside, okay? First of all. Obi-Wan.
How did this happen?
You.
How did I do this?
Because you're drunk and you're yelling.
I'm not drunk anymore.
about
I just
Ahsoka.
this fucking livid about Star
The
Wars
Acolyte,
and how they ruined my
we
childhood.
haven't seen enough, okay? Also, they didn't ruin your childhood. They didn't fucking take, like George Lucas did, they didn't take the 6 movies and then fucking re-edit them and change things. George Lucas fucking did that, okay? They didn't take the movies. They're still there as they were, as you remember them. They didn't ruin anything. They're just making it
with the lore.
so much
They're
worse.
Fucking with the lore.
So then ignore it like everyone else.
I can't because they keep putting it in my face and do this podcast. I have to fucking watch it.
Then shut up and eat your breakfast, okay? Get over it.
Breakfast is stale.
By the way, we went to a concert yesterday or the day before. We saw Set It Off. Link in the bio. We ranked their discography like 4 or 5 years ago.
Even though there's been 2 albums since then.
Yes.
We love them.
I
They're
wanted
not
to
a
talk
big
about
band.
Set It Off. You wanted to yell about fucking Star Wars.
Honestly, I'm
I'm
done
so
with
tired
this
of
episode.
talking about Star Wars.
I'm so tired of Star Wars. This is why I brought it up.
Well, guess what? You have to watch the fucking Acolyte, okay? We'll be here day 1.
I was so hyped for it before I saw the trailer.
The poster looks so cool.
I'm like, this is where Star Wars is going to turn around. I saw the trailer and went, it's more the same. I'm so upset. I'm so upset.
What
Like,
did you expect? You really thought it? They brought Dave Filoni in, George Lucas's right-hand man, his not predecessor, whatever the fuck, the guy that took over after him. They brought him onto Ahsoka, and you're sitting here yelling about how much Ahsoka sucks. What did you think was going to be different when Kathleen Kennedy goes, I'm making my own fucking section of Star Wars? Hundreds of years before The Phantom Menace.
she's the one who's in charge?
She's in charge of everything, Brendan. She did this.
But I mean, like, this was her idea?
I don't know.
It's going to be bad. Fire the bitch. I don't give a fuck. She's garbage. She's giving George Lucas cancer for fun. Fucking fire her.
Have George Lucas come back for episode 10.
You know
and
what?
prove to the world.
But you complained about it, saying that he fucked up the originals. I would rather have him come up with a whole nother trilogy of the original trilogy, fucking with it, than have
Darth
this
Maul
motherfucker
and his
in charge
apprentice?
for 1 season longer.
Have you
of
heard
anything.
about the sequel trilogy that he thought up?
Would have been awesome.
Darth Maul is-
It would have been great.
Let's be
And
realistic
we got Rey Skywalker. What are you fucking
What's wrong with your eyes, man? So
They're dead. I'm dead
we
inside
had-
because of Rey Skywalker.
this is just the fact that Disney doesn't know what they're doing.
Rose.
Did you know that there's not a
Finn
single
not becoming a Jedi.
there's not a single piece of the orchestration from the prequels in the Obi-Wan TV show? Not even a little Duel of the Fates.
No.
You know what that means? From the ground up, right? From the people who make the decisions on what to make to the people who hire people, all the way to the bottom for the people that go, I wonder what song I want to put in this. The whole thing, nobody knows what the fuck they're doing.
I got so worked up during this podcast, I literally blew out the crotch of my pants. There's a giant hole right now.
So we went and saw Set It Off. Your mic is just peaked. For a solid 10 minutes, it's just nothing but...
I'm peaked.
So we went and saw Set It Off.
Yes.
It was great.
Yes.
I loved it a lot.
It was so
It
fun.
made us realize that
Minus
we're really old.
The rainy day in New York that
Oh, yeah. We should have just put the poncho on when we got into New York.
I tried finding the bar that we went to today on Google Maps.
I have no idea what the name is.
Not a fucking clue. Every single time I go to New York and do something I don't like, I remember it till the day I die. Every time I
course.
find something I like in New York, it's gone the next day. It never existed.
That's the
They
beauty.
fucking moved it.
We should go to Brooklyn.
Fuck you.
Okay. You want to,
No, you sign off. I'm done.
we got to do our closing, Brendan. What did we do last week?
I don't remember.
Easy one. Wasn't even like a new movie.
We did Austin Powers.
Yeah,
it was
we
my
reviewed
idea.
the
You
Austin
guys didn't
Powers
like
trilogy.
it. Oh.
The video itself kind of bombed, but we've also been shadow banned for a few weeks that we're trying to work our way out of like the mud. So
yeah.
things are slowly getting better from an analytics standpoint.
Yeah.
Very slowly. Austin Powers did not help, but we had fun.
I did have fun.
That was one of those weeks where I was like, nah, man, we started doing this podcast to have fun and like do stupid shit and not focusing on the numbers.
Yeah.
So that was just one of those ones where I was like,
Part of me really wants
fluffer, you
to
know?
like mention the podcast as it comes to me like slowly degrading towards Star Wars, but that's a lie. It is literally just the amount of content and the amount of like shit content that has been put out by them, because I would have been watching it whether we were on this podcast or not.
100%.
But having to talk about it and having to lie to your face and their face and not just fucking tear into it for an hour and a half straight and just say the harshest fucking things, it's kind of killing me.
Brendan's really dramatic today. Are you sleepy?
I'm sleepy.
You're a sleepy
I'm
little boy.
tired for some reason. The
You're a
past
sleepy
couple days,
little-
I've been really irritable. It might be the lack of sleep.
Well, that's
I
probably
don't know.
because we're old men and we shouldn't be in the pit anymore at concerts. We should be up in the VIP for an extra like $70 to sit, have a few drinks, and just watch the band.
I just wanted to see Cody as close as possible.
Of course.
And get a souvenir.
And instead, what did you
and
get?
I got
You
a
got this.
souvenir.
You got this.
I got it. I caught the stick, except
Hell
it
yeah.
fucking broke.
And
And I got
cut right in the
stabbed in the
chest.
fucking chest from here to here. And guess what? It still hurts.
So,
I'm too...
you know what is next week, Brendan?
Godzilla, which honestly...
Third episode of Godzilla in 6 months. Let's
is
go.
the most hype for a movie I've been
Monkey
in
on
like
a
a
lizard.
year.
Monkey on a lizard. Monkey on a lizard.
I don't like I kid you not, this movie is the first time I'm genuinely like Dune and everything. I'm like, it's gonna be a great movie, it's gonna be
Yeah.
an amazing movie, it's gonna be
Ah,
but this is the first movie where I'm like, this is gonna be a dumb action film and I'm gonna fucking love it.
you know
from
where my hype
beginning to
started?
end.
My hype started for this movie not because we were watching them, like in the bio, for Godzilla last year. Where
Yeah.
we watched all of them. We did an episode on Godzilla because there was nothing coming out, and then we did Godzilla -1. My hype for this started when I saw the leak of the Funko Pop of Godzilla laying down like a little baby.
Like a little puppy.
I fucking need it. I don't have any Godzilla pops. It doesn't make sense in my collection, but it's like it's this big ass box of like the 6 or the whatever the fuck the 8-inch pop. He's like this big. He's just a little baby laying down going to sleep, and he's pink. He's fucking adorable.
There's
need that.
so much I like about this movie coming out.
I can't fucking wait. And you know what's
What are we
really
gonna
nice?
do if it's bad?
It's gonna be bad. Who gives a shit?
No, but not in the bad fun way like we think it's gonna be, but
Yeah.
in like a bad way, like a soak. No,
It'll
I'm
be-
just sorry, I
That was
had
good.
to.
That was good. I think it'll be the same way that Godzilla versus Kong went. You don't like that movie. I thought that movie was a fucking ton of fun.
Whoa, hold on. I did not like that movie. I just thought it could have been
The
better.
link is in the bio. You're lying.
I thought that the fighting was what. It's a fun movie. Once again,
Yeah.
I enjoyed it in theaters,
Yeah.
but like as a retrospective, like it could have been better. I didn't hate
100%.
it under any circumstance.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I think this will wind up being the same thing. It's going to be over the top, absurd. But now, see, it started in 2014 where they're like, look, it's Godzilla and he's new and whatever, and Bryan
Yeah.
Cranston. And slowly, as I talk about in all these episodes, the dial, there's different dials for movies.
Yeah.
The realism dial went down, and the absurdity just continues to go up.
And it was in a point in Godzilla versus Kong
Yeah.
where I'm like, I don't really know what you're looking at right now, what you're doing. Like,
And then
it's
they went
kind
through
of
the portal
stupid.
to the center
But
of
then
the
they've
earth.
passed that,
Yeah.
and it's kind of like the uncanny valley where we're now. I'm like, this is so unreal. I
Crazy.
know he didn't, but this is a Michael Bay movie, and
Yes.
I'm down for it.
Godzilla has a robotic arm,
Yeah.
or King Kong
King
has
Kong.
a robotic arm. Godzilla is Super Saiyan Rose, and they both run like people
I want him
until
to
King
lose.
Kong rides Godzilla like a horse.
I want him to lose the tail in this movie and have a Piccolo moment where he just grows it the fuck back.
He just screams.
Yeah.
Totally down with that.
Or he needs it like comes out, it gets stuck, and he needs Kong.
You know what
to
I
use the
hate?
robot hand to rip it out the rest of the way.
I hate
I
the
could direct
fact
these.
that we will talk about it more next week, but I hate the fact that they already did Mecha Godzilla.
Yeah.
I feel like
I
there's
hated
like
his design. That's what I really
I liked his design. I was fine with it.
It was too realistic. Like they
Yes, it
weren't
was.
absurd enough with it.
Well, now we're at the fucking point of no return.
Yes.
Mecha Godzilla 2.
Space Godzilla.
Second Godzilla.
I didn't make that up. That's real.
I know it is.
Oh, okay.
There's like 60 Godzilla movies.
Yeah.
We can watch all of them by next week, right?
Godzilla, Barbara Streisand from South Park. Like we could just take it all. Oh, you were googling that.
Invincible was pretty good too, by the way.
I didn't see the second episode.
All right, folks. Well, that's going to be it for episode 96.
We can talk about the first one. Or do you want to wait and just do them both next week?
I think I just want to wait and do the whole
Okay,
second
good enough
half
for
of the
me. This
season
has
at
been
the end.
episode 96. I'm Brendan,
I'm Miguel
and this has been the Anything Bowl.
with Brendan screaming. Have a good night. Also fucking ugly. That's a big one.
Damn. Only I got constant compliments about my feminine eyelashes.
You want to talk about how you wear makeup again?
Literally in person, had a breakdown of how I have the perfect female eyelash, of how it's longer in the middle and it like fades down on the sides and everything. And you know what I said to that person? Thanks, because what the fuck do I say to that?
The fuck do you want me to say to that?
I'm a dude. You're talking to me about eyelashes. The fact that they're called eyelashes is the extent of my knowledge.